It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
The Alico building here in Central Texas. Scotty, can you do a little more zoom? We were a little more zoomed in earlier.
Well, I thought you liked it.
I like it zoomed out, but let's just go in a little bit more. Guys, it's a fine. By the way, we got big news. We're talking to Darby Brown in a little bit. All right, that's good. We're talking to Darby Brown a little bit. Thanks, buddy. Darby, obviously, at CBS Austin, the Texas Longhorns, a women's basketball team, headed to the Final Four. Darby's been covering the team all year long. They have a game Friday, obviously, in the semifinal against South Carolina. Darby's going to talk about that. She's also going to chat with us about Arch Manning and the pomp, the circumstance, the excitement, the real, legitimate, deserved hype surrounding that kid as he gets set to start his first season under center for the Texas Longhorns, probably one of the most important jobs in the country outside of being president. at least if you ask people in Austin. So we're going to talk to Darby. Also, Cam's coming up in a little bit. Cam was on a hunger strike until Rafael Devers got a hit, and he did get a hit last night. And it was interesting because it was an idea I had a couple of days ago because I saw that Devers hadn't had a hit all year long. So I challenged Cam not to eat until he got a hit. I didn't really know he was going to say yes. And then he did. And then it had been like almost 24 hours since the kid ate. And we were like in the third or maybe the fifth inning, and Devers was 0 for 2. And I was like, and we were on a group text, the sports text, and Corey, our boss over here, was involved. And like, we don't necessarily have like, I don't know, HR. Well, if you were looking for an HR department up here, you probably have to keep looking. And so I was like, is Corey going to stop this? Because he is HR. And, Cam, we don't want him to get sick. And I was actually on the Cameron Park Trail yesterday. The Red Sox game had already started, and I ran into a good friend of Cam's and mine, better friend of Cam's, a friend of mine, Abby Stokes, who works for Baylor Vision at Baylor. She's like basically what these schools are doing now, and it's so cool. ESPN comes to these schools and helps them build out control rooms so these schools can have young professionals like this woman, Abby Stokes, can kind of run the control room. Abby's like a coordinating producer that I would work for at ESPN, but now she's like a coordinating producer at Baylor. She runs their control room. It's one of the nicest control rooms in the country, and that's not a lie. It's at Baylor. So Abby and Cam are buddies through that Baylor connection, and I bumped into Abby on the trail, and she was like, "Pete, what's up?" And we were talking, and I was like, I was just texting with Cam, and she goes, "He's not like eating or something?" I was like, "Yeah." I said he's not allowed to eat till Rafael Devers gets a hit. And then moments later, I saw that Devers got a hit. But so Cam's hunger strike's over. He's going to talk to us a little bit about that. Top of mind, I want to talk about Kevin Willard. Some statements that he made as a Villanova fan. Obviously, Kevin Willard leaving Maryland, taking the job at Villanova. The way he left, I mean, you could pull 100 people in a room and 99 and a half of them would say that the way he left Maryland kind of sucked. And actually, we'll start with that because there's a trade in the NFL that we'll get to that involves the Cowboys and the Patriots. We're going to talk to Cam about that. But let's talk about Kevin Willard first and my frustration with him in this situation. As a Villanova fan, I'm ready to hold my nose with this hire and just hope that he does well and Villanova wins. And I do think that we'll get past all this negativity, right? But it's going to take a minute. And accountability is always something that comes into play. And this dude is showing no accountability. It's been he's been drugged through the mud now publicly after leaving Maryland and using the team's Sweet 16 run as a platform to complain about the resources that were being spent on Maryland's basketball team. And also as a platform to get another job, right, with Villanova. And success for him, okay. It's a dirty business. It's a slimy business. He has every right to take another job. The way he did it was kind of crappy. Scott Van Pelt, we talked about it yesterday, went scorched earth because Van Pelt is involved. Van Pelt's a millionaire, and he's involved with some of these collectives or folks that get the NIL deals together and try to pump resources into the basketball program at Maryland. So guys like Kevin Willard will stay and have the ability and resources to win a championship. So Kevin Willard was not honest with them about his intentions, was probably going to go to Villanova the whole time. And it was crappy. And when he was asked about it, he didn't own any of it. He said, I could have been a little abrasive last week during the Final Four. He basically was just, let me find you the quote because I think it's complete garbito. I think some of my comments during the NCAA tournament probably could have been a little less abrasive, Willard said Wednesday. Unfortunately, sometimes when my passion for my program, my passion for my players comes out, I get a little excited. The only thing I'm going to say is normal fans just don't understand what went on. Okay, that's backhanded. Scott Van Pelt's not a normal fan. Len Elmore is not a normal fan. Jay Billis is not a normal fan. He's an analyst, by the way. Those two guys I'm talking about are Maryland alums. But Billis is not a fan. And everybody thinks the way you handled it was garbage. So have a little accountability. Like, that's all we want. A little accountability. And don't be backhanded, average fans. Come on, bro. That we know what you're saying. And if that's who you are, that sucks, because all people want is accountability. Like, if he were to have, and this is a grown man who's the leader of young men. It's not like an NBA coach. Like, even when Bobby Petrino quit his job with the Falcons, and I guess he like left a letter in guys' lockers, didn't do it face to face. Like, that sucked, but it was an NFL team. It was kind of like, okay, it was a little easier to wrap your mind around. Those guys are pros. And a lot of the college guys are pros too, but they're still young guys who a lot of times their family is putting faith in this man to help steer them in the right direction. This isn't the kind of guy I want steering my kid. Totally honest. It's not. Like, from what I've seen so far. And, as far as people who were upset about what happened in Maryland, he said, I just think it's time that everybody moved on. Again, like, dude, I don't know. So clearly this guy is like, he's kind of prickly. And coaches are, and we'll move through this. Again, what he did was not criminal, but he certainly doesn't seem like a likable guy. And as somebody who is closely affiliated with Villanova, he's not somebody I want to root for. Like, it doesn't reinvigorate me with excitement about the program, because a big part about a lot of college basketball situations is, whether it's totally misguided or not, we view this as kind of like a family, right? This is our family. Really easy to get behind Baylor and Scott Drew, even when they're struggling, because Scott Drew is just somebody who is so easy to love and root for. It's not always like that. Clearly it's not like that in this case with Kevin Willard. So whatever, that's like a bummer. I think the whole situation stinks. And, he's gotten a couple opportunities here to do a little mea culpa and own it, and he has not done any of that. So, all right, fine, whatever. Have some accountability. Story we're going to talk with Cam about in a little bit, and it hits close to home because it's a Cowboys trade. We have Cooper Rush going to Baltimore, signing a contract with the Ravens not too long ago, right? A 2-year deal. And by the way, he's guaranteed $4.2 million in that $2 million deal, $2 million deal, or 2-year deal, excuse me. So the Cowboys need a backup quarterback. They made a deal today with the New England Patriots, just broke about 20 minutes ago. Joe Milton, they have traded for Joe Milton to come to the New England Patriots. And they also got a 7th-round pick. And they sent the Patriots a 5th-round pick. So the Cowboys send the Pats a 2025 5th-round pick, and they get in return a 2025 7th-round pick and Joe Milton. I have no excitement about Joe Milton. I don't. Is he your backup? I guess. I mean, he was a really good quarterback at Tennessee. Has a limited time playing in the NFL. You were probably better off with Cooper Rush, to be honest. But okay, Milton's played one game. And it was against the Bills, and they won the game. He started the game. He had a touchdown.
He played super well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, here comes Scotty. All right, so let's go, Scotty. To me, this is not an exciting move at all, but I'd like you to tell me why I should be excited.
I think Joe Milton's really good.
Oh, here we go. By the way, we didn't talk about this at all.
No, not at all. I didn't know this was a topic today.
Well, no, the trade just happened. We got to talk about it. You're a Cowboys fan, so
Yep.
Are you happy to see this?
Very, very. I think Joe Milton is what the Cowboys were hoping Trey Lance would be. And by that, I mean successful college quarterback, very athletic, very high upside. I think when they signed Lance, I was like, oh, he's going to push Dak. Not close. But since Dak has had injury trouble the last few years, like last season, I feel like Cooper Rush can spot fill in. But if I need him for 10 games, I'm not confident I'm going to win.
We saw it last year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was hoping Trey Lance, oh, he's dynamic. He's going to earn this, and he can win you football games. He's not that guy. Like,
No.
wasn't that guy in San Francisco. can't beat out Cooper Rush to play. You're not that guy.
They both pretty much had an open audition last year for
They
that
did.
job, to solidify that backup job.
Right.
And they both.
And again,
bungled
Cooper
it.
Rush, no shade to Cooper Rush. Like, if a quarterback goes down and misses a half of football, I'm very happy to have Cooper Rush playing football. He's doesn't turn the ball over. He's what you want in a backup
Well,
QB.
I saw him turn the ball over a couple times.
Well,
at that Eagles
not
game this year.
not as much as Anthony Richardson
No.
or some starters in the league,
Yeah.
Justin Fields. But I think Milton has legit upside. He played very well when he did get to play this past season, and I like it. I like it.
Okay. So
This is one of the first things the Cowboys have done where I'm like, let's go.
It's funny. The Cowboys bar is so low now that no, really, like a positive move for an also ran backup
1000%.
quarterback is like, oh, okay, this is legit. All right. So you got Joe Milton. Scotty's happy.
Bear the Truth is not happy.
What is it? Good. Finally, we got a sobering comment here. What do
He
you
says,
say?
Cooper, come back, please.
But I think, the Cooper Rush conversation, and even you could lump Trey Lance in this, were the Cowboys so bad last year that it was impossible for any quarterback to have success?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because Cooper Rush was playing, as opposed to years ago when he stepped in for Dak and I think went 2-2,
Mm-hmm.
and clearly serviceable as a backup. This year he was like, the Sam Darnold term, right? Seeing ghosts. Like he would drop back and it was like just a complete chaotic mess.
Yeah.
And he had
Well,
no confidence all year long.
The Cowboys have not had a good offensive line for 2 or 3 seasons now. That doesn't help.
Well, and no running game doesn't help either. No commitment to it.
No. And that's where last offseason we, let's Derrick Henry, I can't pay for him. Here's Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Stupid.
So I think I again, remains to be seen, right?
Yeah.
Joe Milton probably, if things are going well for the Cowboys, won't have much of an opportunity to prove us right or wrong.
So I'll be interested in Cam's take on this. I've, for a couple seasons now, and even going into this draft, I've said I want the Cowboys to get a good backup who could develop into a starter, because that's not what Cooper Rush is, and that's not what Trey Lance is.
Well, Trey Lance, I was still hanging on to hope last year. Honestly, that was my one little, like, when Cooper Rush got hurt, after Dak got hurt, and I was like, maybe Trey Lance could like pull it out of his ass here and have no chance.
No. So I wanted to see the Cowboys draft someone like, I have a man crush on this dude, but like a Curtis Rourke from Indiana, someone you can get in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
But very efficient college quarterback, can make all the throws. Hey, is this someone in 3 years? Because I mean, like or not like Dak, he's on a clock.
Yeah.
He's in the older half of quarterbacks in the league now.
Yeah.
He has been hurt.
He's down 33 pounds.
He looks good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Ozempic Dak.
It looks really good. But I think Milton fits that profile. Like it would not surprise me if Milton's just a backup.
Okay.
It would also not surprise me if 2 years from now he's the Dallas Cowboys starter.
All right.
I think he's that talented.
All right. I will be very interested to see what Cam has to say.
Yeah, I want Cam's take on this too.
Because we know Cam has a take. So we'll talk to Cam coming up here in about 5 minutes. We'll take a quick break here in a couple moments. He's finally had the opportunity to eat. The question everyone has is, what did he eat first? Was it a gummy or was it actual like food, something from food groups? I don't know that gummies count as food groups. We'll find out. I think he was most upset that he wouldn't be able to eat the gummies because the gummies would bring on more hunger. So the whole thing was very, very nerve-wracking for him. And it was nice to see him squirm. We actually had thoughts of we threatened to do reaction podcasts, but I was out and about after this all happened, after Devers got a hit. I will tell you something I saw last night. We're so sports heavy now. By the way, do you know, well, we'll talk. I'll do a little research about this, but I've heard things aren't going great with the Crown tournament, the college basketball tournament, but that's a whole nother story. I watched a documentary last night about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's on HBO. It's well done. We talked yesterday about it's really hard to get the real story on a lot of things, or like a good story with some bones to it, because there's just not that many documentaries that are made well nowadays, and people aren't reading as much as they used to. So people were relying on like lukewarm documentaries to get a story. This was not a lukewarm documentary, and it's on HBO or Max or whatever you call it. Man, it was good, and they give you all different sides of it, and what like a dark web PR version of like you just got to watch it yourself. I still don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I still don't know who was right or wrong. I think that Blake Lively. Here's my take on this. Blake Lively is running in such rare air as far as like famous friends are concerned. Her husband, Ryan Reynolds, her level of fame, hanging out with Taylor Swift, that it's hard for her to be grounded in any way possible. I think those people that get that famous, like that level of fame, are just checked out from real society. And I think that sometimes that leads to certain behaviors that are just like spacey and kind of like, what? And I think that's where Blake Lively is. The Baldoni guy I can relate to. He's a people pleaser. He seems like a nice guy. And he just got totally overwhelmed and overpowered by the monster of a star that like Ryan Reynolds is, that Taylor Swift is, and the Blake Lively is. But I would recommend watching that documentary. I was spellbound the whole time. And I learned a lot because I had read, here's the deal. With the way that we consume news now, social media and the like, there's so many little piecemeal things that hit us on a daily, on a day in the news cycle that you're like, oh, okay, I remember when Baldoni sued the New York Times now. I remembered when Blake Lively sued Justin Baldoni. I remember when that video came out of them doing the slow dance in a scene that she complained about where he was being a little frisky. When now they have the video and his attorney put the whole 11-minute video out, and maybe a little creepy, but I don't know if it would be assault. There's the one character is that it takes you into Hollywood. They sit you down. They have the intimacy coordinator from that movie, The Last of Us, and the intimacy coordinator like comes on set. The intimacy coordinator is like this has got to be a 20-something, maybe early 30s girl. She's got the tats going. She's definitely alternative. So at first you're like, wait, what's this? Like, and then you're like, oh, this chick's super cool. And she was very down the middle and just like, I learned a lot about spaces that I don't want to maneuver in ever. But it's super interesting to get the behind the curtain. I think it's extremely well. I think you should watch it if you have any interest in that story at all. I got interest in what Cam Stewart is saying. I want to see what Cam thinks about this trade. We'll talk to Cam and then we'll talk to Darby. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is great news. So for all of you who have supported the show, thank you. Again, we continue to bring sponsors on, but our channel, the Pizza channel, is now monetized on YouTube. And that's cool. When you think about the sea of stuff out there on YouTube, 1% of shows are monetized, really, maybe less than that, right? I mean, and we're one of those shows. So we're going to continue to grow. Hopefully make a little do-re-mi on this so Corey doesn't kick us to the curb just yet. Yeah, so monetization, sponsorships, we're doing it. And we're loving it. So we appreciate you guys being on this journey with us. And Cam is going to join us aboard this journey. Coming back after this short break. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovakics marches on after this.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internext.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now.
And now, back to our show.
Cam Stewart.
There he is.
Hey, they just call us the monetized boys over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The Mana twins.
So now we can join. We can now join Toll, right? You know,
Pretty much, yeah.
what's up with Toll?
What do you mean?
How's he doing?
I don't know. He seems to be doing okay.
Drake Toll, you can catch him. That's a friend of both Cam and I show. Locked on 12, Locked on Big 12.
Big 12. Yep.
And he is the Savannah Bananas. What do they call his job?
I don't
Party
know.
Animals.
Yeah, the Party Animals is the team. Yeah. I don't know what his job description is.
I mean, I'll tell you what. He's like
flat out entertainer, man.
He's like a rock star on tour. I mean,
Yeah.
he truly is.
Yeah.
Cam, we can agree that Toll has it going. All right. By the way, yesterday I'm walking in Cameron Park, and I'm finishing up my little stroll, and I bump into our buddy Abby Stokes, and I'm like, Stokes, I was just texting with Cam, and she goes, he's like not eating or something. I was like, well, he can't eat till Rafael Devers gets a hit, and then moments later, Devers gets a hit. The hunger strike is over. Take me inside. Was there anxiety? Some of the emotions yesterday? Was there panic when he's 0 for 2 and you're thinking, how am I going to play this out?
No, it was just hungry. Like it was, and it didn't even end up going that long. I think we had it just under 22 hours is what it was. The thing that was getting annoying was just talking to my girlfriend about it. She was like, this is not healthy. You can't be doing this. Please don't do this. She's like, you can eat something here. I won't tell anybody. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, there's a good chance this guy's going to get something in the next 36 to 48 hours. Like, I'll be fine. And he got it in at bat number 3. Shout out to Rob Manfred. That game moves a lot quicker now than it did a couple years ago. So his third at bat was like an hour into the game. So we did all right with this thing. And really, I think I had an impact on Rafi Devers finally getting off the schneid. And he smoked that thing. Well, RBI double. I woke up this team. I thought about doing one for Tristan Casas afterwards, who was 1 for 19, but he got a hit too. So
did you celebrate?
Yes. I made myself a peanut butter sandwich right away because I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to just throw down into a bunch of fried food or anything. I was like, look, just ease into this thing. But yes, it was loud in here when Rafi Devers got a hit last night.
I imagined it was.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. You're a great sport for even doing that. I was a little concerned. To be honest with you, I was like, geez, if he doesn't get a hit tonight, like I might be worried about my little buddy in Chicago. I was thinking about that. Like maybe we should call it off. I could tell Corey was a little like unnerved. Like, you know, we were talking earlier, we would have to spend all day looking to find the HR department and we wouldn't find anything over here. So I was like, I don't know if Cam can continue to do this, but you got it done. Joe Milton, we wake up this morning, traded to the Cowboys. Quick thoughts on that.
Honestly, I have a tough time finding this to be a good deal for either side. I mean, for the Patriots side, we had heard rumors that teams were ready to throw around a 3rd-round pick, and that would have made a ton of sense. I talked about this on my show yesterday. That's like no brainer. Like you picked the guy in the 6th round last year. He's not going to be your quarterback. But you also picked a guy in the same draft class as your franchise quarterback. So he's not going to play. If you can get a 3rd rounder for him, like that's automatic, no problem. And now we're hearing that there are also other teams that had better trade offers. You know, there's a list of 4 or 5 teams that had better trade offers than what the Cowboys put out. And the Patriots trading Milton along with a 7th for only a 5th round pick, it doesn't make a lot of sense. In fact, Milton was drafted 183 overall. Like a 5th round pick could be 180, 181. You know what I mean? It could be pretty close there. So you're not getting a ton of value from the Patriots side. And from the Cowboys side, it's not that, you know, this isn't a good trade for them in terms of what they gave up, but you let, you know, Cooper Rush is gone and Joe Milton comes in to potentially be your backup quarterback. Like those are not the same guys. Like Cooper Rush is not a starting quarterback in this league, but he was always ready to go into the game. And you didn't lose a ton when you put Cooper Rush into the game. With Joe Milton, you're talking about still a pretty raw prospect. And his claim to fame in New England is winning the game that is now going to cost them Abdul Carter and or Trevor.
Yeah. That Buffalo game.
It's that he's not going to be well remembered there, but so he was 22 of 29, threw for over 200 yards in that game. He's got a ton of great physical attributes, but so does Trey Lance. So, you know, you've let a guy walk that is not ready or is ready to go into the game whenever called upon. And you got a guy in Joe Milton who's very raw and has only taken snaps in 1 regular season game.
And we got a guy in Scotty Swingler who's like frothing at the mouth over here.
Joe Milton and Trey Lance are not remotely the same.
Well, neither
Trey
of them
Lance
play.
was a number 3 overall pick who couldn't get on the field. Joe Milton got on the field once and played very well.
Cam, go ahead.
Joe Milton's also a guy that can't get on the field. They both have a ton of athletic upside. Trey Lance had all those kind of question marks coming into the draft because he was like, but he's so athletic. He's such a freak. We got to draft him at number 3 overall. So, yeah, I get the prospects are not the same. But here in the league, like Trey Lance doesn't play. Joe Milton doesn't play. Joe Milton's younger. I'll give you that, Scotty. I'm just saying from in terms of like comparing him to Cooper Rush rather than Trey Lance, like it's a big difference.
Go
you
ahead,
got
Scotty.
two raw as hell guys.
No, I'm considering this, Pete. I don't just fire back hot takes. I am taking in what Cam is saying and considering the point. I understand where Cam is coming from. I just think like there's a huge difference between a guy who was drafted to be a backup, has played very well when he's played, versus a guy who was drafted to be a starter and was beat out by a 7th round pick inside the same team.
Well, yeah, that's true. Absolutely. I'm seeing it from a Cowboy standpoint of like that was essentially a preseason game though that he played against Buffalo. Buffalo had their 2s out there. The Patriots had their 2s out there. There was nothing to play for except pissing away the first overall.
Well, but I was telling Pete, the Cowboys were going to have to draft a quarterback, in my opinion, in this draft regardless.
They should.
It's a weak quarterback draft. And, you know, you didn't give up much for Milton. So would you rather have Milton or Curtis Rourke? Like, I think Milton's at least seen time in the league. And
well, from that standpoint, it is a better move because like a guy in Jackson Dart who 10 years ago would have been taken in the 4th or 5th round is going to be taken at the end of the 1st round this year.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's a good move or a better move. I'm looking at it from the Cooper Rush. Like if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'd just rather have Cooper Rush as a guy who's played in the league and can give you something. You know, Joe Milton is still very raw. Like we're talking about if Dak Prescott goes down in week 1, which can happen, and Joe Milton's your guy, that's a tank road right there.
I'm not sure I agree.
But, Scotty, come on. I got to get with Cam on this. The guy's got one game that was a complete BS game that he played well.
And he can do a hell of a backflip.
Yeah.
And like, look, again, Joe Milton might be Cooper Rush in a couple years in that he is a guy who could spot start and be a good backup.
Yeah.
But again, as much as we talk about Jackson Dart now being in the 1st round, that was the same case for quarterbacks last year. There was still a bank rush for quarterbacks last year, and he went in the 6th round.
Good point.
They took a flyer. You know,
well,
He's
Cam
exciting. He's exciting. He'll make some plays. And that preseason, Cowboys fans will be falling all over themselves. I'm telling you, he's going to make some plays. And it's just a different game if he has to go in a regular season game.
All right, go ahead, Scotty.
I was just gonna say, our boy Bear the Truth agrees with y'all. So
Thank you,
I will
Cam.
be on the
You're
Joe
welcome,
Milton
Bear the
Island.
Truth.
I think it was a good move. We will see.
And
Cam,
watch, he's going to do something in preseason that's going to light it up. And there's going to be like dozens of people in your comment section on Scotty's side. I'm telling you. I'm telling you it's going to happen.
All right, hold on, Cam. By the way, you're
And I did think they could get more. So
you're okay. Your connection is kind of shoddy, but that could be all
yeah,
right.
no, it's probably me.
Okay, hold on. Two more things. Okay, Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively. Who you got?
I don't know the first person.
You don't know who Justin Baldoni is?
No.
All right.
I
So
don't know
all
who
right,
that is.
moving
I don't
on.
know.
Another hot
Blake
topic for you. All right. So
Know who
Val
that is.
Kilmer, okay,
Yeah.
passed away. What's Val
Right.
Kilmer's best movie?
Oh, dude. I mean, it's probably Heat.
Yes.
I do like him as Jim Morrison in The Doors. That movie, it's kind of silly, it's kind of dumb, but I think he's fairly true to the character.
Yeah,
I
he does a
kinda
great
like it.
job. He does a
Yeah.
great job in The Doors. That Val Kilmer was electric as a performer,
Yeah,
as
he's
an
pretty
actor.
good.
Yeah, he was
Batman, his Batman, I don't know if it was
that
his
was a rough
fault,
one.
but
That was a rough one.
yeah.
Yeah, Heat was my favorite Val movie as well. All right, last one before we let you go. We got Darby Brown coming on next. What the hell with Jalen Celestine? I was bummed. He was the one guy at the end of games that could get a shot off and make it. I've been saying that for the past 24 hours now. What are your thoughts? Any idea? What are you laughing at? Any idea?
Banging that drum for 24 hours. Damn it. Almost as long as you starved yourself.
What
My
are your thoughts on that move?
So I'm again kind of somewhere in the middle because I'm boring. I've seen a lot of Baylor fans that are happy to see him go because he had kind of a disappointing season, and I've seen some in the minority that are like, "Oh, bummer. This guy could have been a huge piece next year." And I don't know how big a piece he would have been, but that's a starter who's coming back. A guy who started 11 games this past year.
The last
has some
11.
versatility. Yeah, I thought he was disappointing in some of the shooting numbers. Like, I know they're okay. I think he shot 35% from three, but he shot 44% from three in his last year at Cal. You were hoping to be somewhere around 40%, and Baylor really needed that this year. They didn't have it.
It's
And I think
38%, dude.
38, is it that high?
That's pretty high. Yeah.
That's higher than I thought. I thought I
Yeah.
saw 35. Yeah, he just, but again, kind of using the eye test here because clearly my stats aren't great. He just wasn't a guy who you were like open. That's, what does the other team do? And this guy's going to bang open threes all game, and he can give us 5 or 6 in a night that we really need it. He wasn't that. And I think the biggest downside from a Baylor standpoint is you now have 3 guys who played on the team this year that are coming back next year. 3. Yeah. And one of them might not come back, like Josh Ojamwana, who knows with that injury. And Rob Wright, we still don't know if he comes back. I think that's still a question. And so you're talking about a guy who started and had a lot of experience also not coming back. So right now, your returners are Josh Ojamwana off at ACL, Rob Wright, who, if he does come back, will be an all Big 12 player, I think, and Marino Dubravcic. So you don't have a lot. And I know that Scott's going to hit this transfer portal hard, but I think he would tell you, and any coach would tell you, any guys you can bring back that knows the system and knows how you want to play is a big advantage. So it's, I don't know, from a statistical standpoint, it doesn't feel like a huge loss, but from what you're bringing back, you could really use a guy like him.
All right. Bon appetit, Cam. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
Overcorrected last night.
You're overcorrected. That's good. You still look good today. All right. Cam Stewart's coming up after me. Coming up after this break, Darby Brown. Stay with us. Pete Sousa Show presented by, let me do it over here, Slovakics. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, Blogify.ai today.
And now, back to our show.
You want to congratulate me?
On.
We got my channel got monetized. How about that? You were a big part of that.
Congrats.
Yeah, you were probably one of my first guests here. Definitely one of the first regular guests. So, thank you very much, Darby.
I thought you were going to talk about getting engaged because
well, you know, we've talked about that enough.
Anyways, but congrats on all of it.
I got a talk yesterday or 2 days ago from Christy. Like, you're not exactly doing all the stuff you did when you courted me. Like, you used to send me food unannounced. So I sent her some tropical smoothie this morning.
Nice. That's a good touch.
Yeah, get back on the train, you know?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Final Four talk. Texas Longhorns, of course, this is Darby Brown, CBS Austin, sports reporting superstar. She also has big-time roots here in Waco, so I am going to chat with you a little bit about the Baylor basketball team. But Rory Harmon, Texas in the Final Four. A lot of people, Darby, you've had like the ground zero approach to this Texas team this year, but I think a lot of people around the country don't know how special that story is as we head into this weekend of the Final Four where Texas is going to take on South Carolina. Why should people care about Rory Harmon and her story?
Yeah, Rory's story is pretty incredible. I mean, I remember when I was covering Baylor and she was about to play Baylor and she had torn her ACL, and that was last season. And so she rehabs throughout the whole, rest of the season and then the off season, and has come back from this torn ACL for her. It could be her final year. Technically with, all the eligibility, she could have another year, but, she has not really indicated what she's doing yet, but potentially her last year at Texas, she's been able to play, be healthy all the way through. And she's awesome. Like, it's been really cool getting to know her and getting to see her on this journey this season, because she's an amazing leader of this team. And I think she learned a lot when she was injured about, how to lead in that way and almost being a coach. And now she's been able to play, and she just has so much gratitude for being healthy. And you really could not tell, other than she does wear a brace because, she just kind of is being cautious, but you can't tell. I mean, she's been awesome this year. So it's been really, really a cool story. And this whole run that they've been on, this is Rory's team, really. So that it's been cool to see.
Now, if Rory's the star of this team, who's the best supporting actress? Who is going to have or need to have a big semifinal game against South Carolina, and hopefully they can ascend to the championship and have an opportunity there? Who's the second fiddle?
Yeah, well, it's Madison Booker. Madison Booker was the SEC Player of the Year, so she, production-wise, is going to look like the best player on the team, and she has an incredible jump shot that people like to compare it to Kevin Durant around here, which is kind of cool, honestly. But she's really a incredible scorer. She's also super level-headed and humble. She's only a sophomore, so she's really a young player that's done a lot. But again, it's Rory's team leading the way, but Madison Booker's for sure the girl that they look to really produce on this team, and she's really doesn't disappoint. Even if she kind of starts off a little quiet, suddenly you look at the stat sheet and she has 20 points. So she's just kind of that girl on the team.
Yeah, she's certainly not second fiddle, as I said, but she's definitely she's probably the headliner. When you talk about Vic Schaefer, a guy who's just got an amazing reputation around college basketball, or career and record speaks for itself at Mississippi State. What is he like to cover?
Yeah, he's interesting. Like, he's super awesome and very much loves this team, but he has never had content, I would say, ever, which you can tell is just going to be a sign of the standard that he holds his team to, and really what he wants to happen this year, which they want to win a national championship. And now, look, they're heading to the Final Four. They have a chance to do that. So, they would have, even the first round of the tournament, they beat a team by 60 points or 40 points, whatever, but they should have won by 60. And he was upset about, how they played on defense. And they put up 100 points for only maybe the second time in NCAA tournament history. And he had things to grumble about. So he is definitely that type of coach that he is, he expects a lot. And I think he loves them a ton, but he also really holds them to a high standard. And so that is Vic Schaefer in a nutshell. He's always got something to nitpick on, and it's comical sometimes. Like, again, the 40-point win, we were kind of like, okay, coach, come on. But, it is what it is. And the girls, they buy into it. They weren't happy either after that game. So, that's kind of how it goes.
How does he treat the media?
He's super friendly. He very much is, he cares about us covering the team. He appreciates the coverage. You can tell he's been a guy that has been a pioneer for, women's basketball. He cares about the game on a big level. And so he cares about getting his team out there coverage wise. And, it's never, I don't think he expects it. I think now in the last couple of years, they've, become a program that people are going to talk about, more than others. But I think it roots back to, kind of similarities to when I covered Kim. Like, he cares about, you covering the team, and it's important, and he's thankful for it. So. And
you're accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
This matchup, people are saying first team to 50, South Carolina, Texas. Mm-hmm. How do these teams match up? What are you expecting as somebody who's watched Texas all season long?
I think it's going to be a good game. It is interesting because, obviously they split in the regular season, and South Carolina won in South Carolina, Texas won in Austin. And I covered that game, and it was, a hard fought game till the very end. And I think that was a huge win for Texas as far as the program and just getting started in the SEC and beating a team that hadn't lost in SEC play in forever. So I expect it to be the same, although I'll say, I think the SEC championship, the tournament championship game, Texas really had a tough, especially I think it was the second quarter, really tough second quarter, and kind of got, they just kind of got run out. And so I feel like that is been a bad taste in their mouth, that they're going to do everything they can to combat that. And I do think it'll probably be, like you said, not super high scoring, but definitely, a tough game. And so I really think it could go either way. Obviously, South Carolina has the benefit of they've been there before, and Texas really hasn't been to the Final Four since 2003. So none of these girls have been there. But, that can go either way too, the energy-wise on that. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch it from a matchup standpoint. I think it's tough to play a team that many times. And so, round 4, we'll see what happens.
Any predictions, Darby?
I think I never like to say score, like you said. My gut thinks that Texas can make it happen. Okay. I really do think that they can. Because, again, I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Granted, South Carolina is maybe that team, but I think it's hard to do that. And I think you kind of saw that happen in the Austin series. And so, That's my gut, but we'll see.
I speak your name whenever I ask people about predictions because you have laid the groundwork that you don't give predictions, and you definitely don't do scores. I like that about you, Darby. You don't succumb to any pressure. I mean, I've seen you on live television shoot down the predictions.
Yeah.
I got to talk about the men's team. I was a fan of Rodney Terry just because I had an opportunity to call a bunch of his games and cover him. And he's just a great dude, and I thought he did a great job in like unbelievable circumstances, unbelievably difficult circumstances. But, you know, he gets the job, 2 years, obviously lukewarm. You turn the page. Again, bummed to see him go, but if I was a Texas fan, I would be thrilled about Sean Miller. So, dude, it's been, I wrote it down this morning, four Elite Eights he's been to. So the guy's been knocking on the door for 10 years now, 20 years now. The reception seemed amazing when he was hired at the Hall of Fame over there in Austin. What are people saying about Sean Miller in Austin? Give us a vibe check on that whole situation.
They're excited. I think everyone was a little fan-wise shocked by how fast it happened, but I think that's sort of how CDC has gone about doing things, which was new for me to see too. You heard Sean Miller's name floating around kind of immediately, and I almost didn't believe it because it was so fast, and I thought, it's kind of one of those things, but it was immediately the guy. And I think people are, they're excited. I mean, they know that he has a certain quality to even just his name and what he's built, over the years, especially at Arizona. It was very interesting that, Texas had just played Xavier in the first four. Xavier beats Texas, and then Texas steals their coach, which was kind of wild. But I do think after hearing more from around here, this was happening, even back when Rodney Terry did get the job. CDC was looking at Sean Miller. And so I think they're in big building for maybe longer than people thought. Not that they were trying to run Rodney Terry out, but when that kind of didn't pan out the way they wanted to, I think that he was kind of in line. So I think there was a little bit of that going on behind the scenes. But yeah, I think people are excited. I think, everyone is anxious to see as most programs are with the transfer portal right now, just trying to see, who are they going to pick up? Because that was kind of the rush, right? To get a coach before the portal opened and get going on the recruiting. So I think, it's kind of to be determined on how excited everyone gets. And I think that could pan out as the roster unfolds. But I think people are excited about this hire.
You grew up in Phoenix, obviously, down the road, you're kind of ways away from Tucson, but you got a feel for Sean Miller. What are your impressions of him as a coach growing up in that state? I mean, he was a mainstay. He was at Arizona for like 10, 11 years.
Yeah, I think 12 years. Yeah, he was there for 12 seasons. Yeah, he was there a long time. I mean, I think my impression is more so on the program he built that I grew up knowing. And again, I have Michigan roots, so growing up with any tie to any Arizona fan base, but knowing that Arizona basketball was a high level program and he was the guy in charge. Like that was just kind of went hand in hand. And obviously, there's a lot of support for that program. Still is. I mean, it's still doing well. Yeah. But I think Sean Miller to people in Arizona was that guy that, got it to, had it going for a long time. And so I think he has a good reputation in the state. And, that's probably what I would think. I didn't grow up a fan or anything, so that's probably the most I would say. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of respect for what he did there.
It's funny when you talk about a lot of schools, and this is just BSing with you. Like a lot of schools, when you let's say Boston College, right? If you have a guy like Rodney Terry, like it's tough to justify moving on from him because you're Boston College. But if you're Texas, like you can that short leash makes sense because you move on to Sean Miller and you've got Chris Delaconte as your AD. Like you just mentioned it, like that blueprint for success, like to make a move that fast, like that's just shrewd business.
Yeah, he always is. And the best ADs are, they've always got something up their sleeve. They've always got a plan. They've always got a backup plan and all these other things. So yeah, I think, he wanted him and it worked out. And Rodney Terry, people will always respect what he did given the circumstances when he took over the program, especially that first year after Chris Beard was fired. And so I think, people will always respect what he did. But as you mentioned, Texas just wants to, they want to be in contention for a national championship in every program. That's kind of what they say. So when they aren't seeing that happen, they're not afraid to make a change. So that's pretty much where Sean Miller comes in.
Couple more things for you. I'm curious to see what you have to say about covering Texas. It is like the cream of the crop as far as college programs, athletic departments, high profile in the world, right? From the facilities to the coaches we're talking about that you can lure there. What has your experience been like covering a Rolls-Royce program like this, where it truly is the best of the best, all the way from the athletes, the talent, to the money? I mean, they've just got so much money. How has that experience been for you?
Yeah, they're definitely in a good position in this NIL era. There's no doubt about that. They have it rolling, and they have it rolling in, and they're using it in ways that make sense. And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's fun to cover. It's fun to cover, teams that are winning or have a chance to be in big events and big moments. And that is, exciting. I think, the football team ends and they, retain Sark, even though there was rumors about him getting NFL interest. That was big. There's the Arch Manning going on, which is, everything I put up a video of him trying to pretend to shoot at a basketball game after, and it gets millions of views. I mean, people are just like obsessed. And so there's that going on. Obviously, the women's basketball is about to go to a Final Four. Men's team is trying to get something rolling. And then you turn to baseball and softball, and those teams are crushing it as well. So and they won a swimming championship.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot going on around here, and obviously that's fun as doing what I do. And it is, I think the one thing I'll say is it's a big program, and people, there's just fans, it's bigger than just your alumni base for sure. That's definitely the type of program it is. And so, it's a big, it's a big machine around here, and then they have it going in a good direction. And that does start with CDC. So you do have to give him credit for what he's doing around here for sure.
What's the number one thing about the Arch Manning situation that has jumped out for you?
I think just, again, I've never seen people be so obsessed with a guy who has not played a lot of college football. There is just such an obsession over, and I'm not a hater of it at all, but it's just fascinating that it is like, the second the season ended, he's doing a sit down with Marty Smith, and he's doing all these things because now he's decided he'll do NIL deals where he didn't do that before he was a starter. And there's that's awesome. I mean, there's stuff about him and the Manning family that it's awesome. And so, you get it, but it is a crazy, crazy amount of expectations and just interest in what he's about to do. And so that is, I don't know if I've ever experienced anything like that, to be honest. I don't think I've been around a college athlete with that type of star power.
Has he spoken to the media? Has there been an availability, and what's that been like?
Yeah, there's been a few throughout, obviously, this season when he did get to play a little bit in for Quinn, and he seems awesome. I mean, he really does. I know that, he was getting he and Quinn both were kind of in a weird situation over the last year, and I think they both handled it well. And, he's super nice and super seems very chill, level-headed. Seems like the guys really like him, and speaks well with the media. And he's a Manning again. I don't know, kind of what it is. So that comes out for sure.
I believe that he has a leg up in a sense that I watch these guys, whether it's Steph Curry or Patrick Mahomes, and now an Arch Manning. Like, when you come from those families where you're around the ballpark, you're around the arena, you're around the stadium, it does make it a little less, underneath the white hot lights and those huge stages. And you also know, like, you've seen your dad stumble and recover. Mm-hmm. I think there's a secret sauce there that's really not so secret, that even though the expectations are super lofty, I think he probably does have the mettle and the fortitude where if he makes a mistake, I think he'll be able to be okay and come back, because if he makes 2 or 3 in a row, the sky's going to be falling. But he has a place to go, I'm sure, in a routine and people in a safe space where he can work through that stuff, where some young guys just don't. I mean, you're a 5-star quarterback in West Texas or somewhere else, and you come to Texas to play, and maybe your dad's an auto mechanic or maybe he's a finance guy, but he can't give you that type of wisdom that Peyton Manning can.
Yeah,
or that his father can.
He can call a few people, and he'll be getting it whatever advice he needs about. Yeah, they've seen it. That family has seen it all, no doubt. And so I think, even just the fact that his grandpa urged him to not take NIL deals until he was a starter, like, who is getting that advice in there? Like, kids are not getting that advice, and it's stuff that's, I think, like, you're right. It kind of sets him apart in how he's prepared for what's to come. But it is, you talk about how big Texas football is, and there's no bigger role than that quarterback. And it is, he'll be in it come the fall. He'll be in it. But I think, like you said, I think he's ready for it. So,
by the way, on your font there, it says Waco Legend at the bottom, because that's exactly who you are. Thank you, Scotty Swingler. I want to ask you about Baylor basketball. I was bummed yesterday when I saw Celestine had transferred. He was the one. I know you watch because your brother Trent, basketball ops with Baylor, so you watch a lot of games. He was the one guy down the stretch that I felt could actually get his own shot and make it. So I was like, man, that's a bummer. Who do you like? Where do you see this team going in the offseason with the portal? Not that you have like inside knowledge, but what are your thoughts, I guess, on this?
I probably do, but I probably shouldn't.
You can't share. I know. Well, I'm trying to let you off the hook, Darby. All right.
No, but like in a general sense, I think we all saw they went after some star power this last year, and I think that you got to reload a ton right now. So they got to get a bunch of role players, and I think that's what they're starting to do. I mean, I will say this: I do not envy that situation right now with the transfers and the all of it just across the board. It's just so crazy how much you have to reload every single year right now. It's just, and it seems like it used to be just if someone soured on the program they would leave, or if something like that. It wasn't. Now it's like kind of just all the different reasons in the world. So it is kind of crazy. I mean, they definitely have their work cut out for them, but I would say, like, keeping Rob, very positive. That is a huge thing for that team. I mean, he was so fun to watch. And, but I agree. Jalen was fun to watch. He was a good shooter. And, that's a little bit of from a fan perspective, because I am one now, I guess. I agree with you that it's like that was a bummer to see him go. But, again, it's just the way that it is. It is just kind of one of those things.
How do you expect them to do coming up next year? Just with all the turnover, I mean, right now I think they got 3 dudes who will be back again next year. Obviously, a lot of time between now and then. So much can happen. But right now, prisoners of the moment, what do you look forward to next year from this team?
Yeah, I think they are always going to bring in quality people. And I think, that the fans will always be proud of the players that they bring in. I think you could say that about this year, even though they didn't maybe perform the way that people wanted them to, which, again, if a down year is what this looked like for them, I mean, that's in a good position.
I've been saying that also. I've been saying that the past 2 months. Like, if this is your down year, this is pretty damn good.
Right. That's how I feel. But, I think that they're going after, they need to get a bunch of guys, and I think that they will be a little deeper maybe than they were this year. They need to be. I mean, they got to prepare for more, injuries and things like that happen, obviously. So I think they'll probably be a little bit deeper. I think they'll be in a good position. I mean, I think there was a lot of turnover, even amongst the staff last year, that I think people kind of forgot about a little bit too, that, they not only were reloading their roster last year, but they were reloading 2 of their top assistant positions. And now they're going to have to get one new assistant. I saw that one coach is headed to McNeese. But, I think there was a lot of turnover going up in the staff as well as the players. And so I think this year this will be a little bit, a little smoother maybe. But I don't know.
By the way, is Trent staying with the program?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I haven't
So he's not transferring. All right, let's go, Trent.
Yeah, he should be around. But, he's been loving it, and I think I don't know. I believe in them. They'll figure it out. But it is. Again, college athletics right now it's crazy. So
it's hard. Let me ask you one more question. I don't want to keep too long. But how hard is it? Like when I'm calling a game, I really am like, okay, let me get some storylines on the players, and let me call the game. Because if I start thinking about other stuff, it's too much. It's too much. As a broadcaster now in the medium, like how do you approach your job when you have so many other things that you could report on, that are going on. How do you get hyper focused on the story you're going to do so you can present it to your audience, right, and serve them without getting caught up in all the stuff that's going on? Because it is real stuff and it's important, but at the same time, you've got a job to do, and there's just too much of it all out there. You have to whittle it down and be direct with something.
Yeah, you got to focus on one storyline at a time. You got to think about how the audience would like ingest the material you're giving them, So if you're going all over the place, you got to focus it down. And then that's kind of how I always think about it in my head too. Like, okay, this is the game. This was the main point of it. And, this is what I'm trying to get across, or this is the player I'm talking about. This is what his or her story is. And that's what I'm trying to get across. But yeah, I mean, you can't get too caught up in the weeds of whatever else might be going on. You got to focus on what's in front of you, what you know, and go from there. But yeah, it's I will say from this stuff we're talking about with transfers and stuff, it has changed a lot as far as how you can cover these teams, because you used to get to know these players a lot more. And now it's just so in and out that it is harder to build connections and really get to know some of these people, because it's different.
It's crazy. And you've seen it all. I mean, this is like in your 10 years of doing this or whatever, 8 years of doing this, like you've seen so much.
Yeah.
It's
true.
crazy.
Yeah, it hasn't, my career has not been that long, but I think back to like the 2021 national championship team for Baylor, those guys, we got to know those guys because they were here for a few years, couple years at least. Now it's like, if you get the same team 2 years in a row, that's such a luxury. So it almost doesn't happen. So it's different when you think about some of that. And it's just, it's interesting. I mean, I watched like this last matchup for Texas against Haley Van Lith and TCU. I mean, she'd been at 5 Elite Eights with 3 different teams. That's crazy. It's crazy times I mean, good for her, but also like it's crazy.
And Sedona Prince has spent 4 years at Texas, a year at Oregon, and now a couple at TCU. True. I was like, whoa. All right, last thing, Scotty, you got anything for Darby? Scotty's cool. Scotty's a huge Baylor guy, so he always has a question or two. He's a huge Darby Brown fan, Waco legend. All right, Darby, what's the one thing you miss the most about Waco? You're right down the road, but what do you miss the most?
Oh my gosh, I miss everything. I love Waco. I really do. I think I miss my coworkers at KWTX. I miss being around the Baylor team. But I will say, I think everything happens for a reason. It was fun to be a fan of this team this year and not be in the mix as a reporter, And so I think, But I miss Waco a ton.
All right, well, Waco misses you. Darby Brown, you can see her on CBS Austin. We appreciate your time, Darbs. Thank you so much. Great insight, great energy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, this is early for me, as you know. So have a good day.
All right, Darby. See ya.
Bye.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.